If you have an Amazon Ring doorbell, you can now choose to stop getting notifications from police. Now, this follows some controversy over Ring's decision to work closely with investigators. Now, they may ask that your surveillance video be taken after a crime that happens nearby. But here's how to opt out if you choose. Just go to the settings menu on your phone. On the Ring app, choose Control Center. Video requests will be on by default. You want to turn that off, and then when prompted, tap Yes, disabled now. Identity Theft Resource Center is sounding the alarm when it comes to protecting your private information. Their new 2019 end-of-year data breach report found a 17% increase in total breaches last year. The center warns that criminals exposing emails and passwords for accounts that may seem unimportant can still put you at risk. That information can be used for what's called credential stuffing.
That is where the thieves take this information, and they hope that you are not practicing good password hygiene and you're reusing that password over multiple accounts. They're hoping that you're using it with your sensitive accounts, like perhaps your banking login information or credit card or things of that nature.
Now, while credential stuffing isn't new, the report found that it has exploded since 2018. Some of the biggest attacks were in Intuit, Boost Mobile, Dunkin', and Disney+. Another growing threat is organizations using databases accessible over the internet but leaving them unprotected.
And sometimes it's as simple as not password protecting that database when it's installed and uploaded to the cloud, or not checking one box when these things are being set up.
Now, if you think that you may have fallen victim, the Identity Theft Resource Center has a free app and resources on its website. Now, we're used to getting targeted ads delivered to our email. Now, marketers are going old school, so tomorrow we're looking into the new way they're targeting us, sending those ads to our actual mailboxes at our homes as well.
See what's missing? No 60s in my forecast. Temperatures fall starting tomorrow morning. It's a return to winter with all the trimmings. I'll explain all of this coming up in the next half hour. That's all for the Now Indy, but the news at 6 starts right now.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Right behind me, I thought he was going to shoot me there, so it was scary.
A food delivery driver carjacked at gunpoint, and he's not the only one. The important safety warning tonight.
We've got a lot to talk about. Rain, snow, and even freezing rain in my forecast. I'll have the timing and potential amounts.
It's amazing to see directly the thing you're working on become the focal point of the public.
Student research at Butler University could lead to breakthroughs in understanding the coronavirus.
Right now, breaking hiring Hoosiers news to report 800 new full-time jobs are on the way to central Indiana. Amazon just announced it's building a distribution center just northwest of Greenfield in Hancock County. Employees will receive and ship products to other Amazon fulfillment centers. Amazon will offer workers a $15 minimum wage, medical, vision, and dental insurance, and a 401k with a 50% match. It's not yet clear when the hiring process will begin or when that facility will open.
Good evening to you here at 6. I'm Amanda Stern-Tino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Food delivery drivers being robbed at gunpoint.
We recently reported about an Anderson woman who was robbed by 2 boys. They put a gun to her head as she tried to deliver a pizza. Now tonight, another delivery driver has come forward.
RTV6's Stephanie Wade speaks with a man who shares that terrifying situation that happened to him and why he's warning others tonight.
The pizza delivery driver was called to a home here near 40th and Ruckle in South Broad Ripple. He says he got out of his car, walked to the front door, and that's when someone came up behind him.
And he pulled a gun out, pointed it at my face, and so I was kind of stuck there, frozen.
It was the last order of the night. Zach Shoemaker just trying to finish up his shift at Greek's Pizzeria and head home. But instead, he was carjacked at gunpoint.
Oh, it's scary. I mean, before this, my biggest fear was that someone opens their door and their dog eats me. But, you know, now it's getting robbed.
The suspect took off with his car and everything inside it.
Pretty much all of my clothes and music equipment was in my car. I was moving at the time, so I didn't get that back.
His laptop for school, gone. Turns out
this has happened so many times in that same location. And then they actually used my car to commit 3 robberies. They hit a liquor store, a gas station, something else.
2 days later, the car was returned to the same area it was stolen.
At the time, I didn't know that one of my coworkers actually had gotten his car jacked a month earlier. So same joint got victimized, so it's been happening a lot.
Police tell me this is an ongoing investigation and no arrests have been made.
I mean, I hope those guys get caught because they're obviously doing it a lot, and pizza drivers are some of the most vulnerable guys out there.
As for Shoemaker,
if you're a delivery driver, it's not worth it. Do something else.
You're not going back to it?
No.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Well, we also reached out to Greek's Pizzeria to see if they've implemented any safety precautions since this happened. We will update you when we hear back. In the meantime, if you have any information about this case, call IMPD.
We've enjoyed spring-like warmth the past 48 hours or so, and it's 6 p.m. and we're still in the 60s, but winter is on its way back into central Indiana.
And stand there a little longer.
I really hope you were able to go outside and enjoy it, because seeing your forecast that you're trying to hide from me right here, we know it's coming.
I think most people made it out at some point yesterday or today to enjoy those temperatures, because as Amanda alluded to, they are going away. Just want to point out we've got some rain showers. That's all they are. Just good old-fashioned rain showers, nothing real heavy. They'll expand this evening in coverage and intensity. Rain, snow, even some freezing rain, all in the forecast. Our first round of a wintry mix tomorrow night, but the more significant impact, I think, will be Wednesday night. I want to jump to Wednesday night in the evening hours, 4 o'clock. Not much happening except in very western Indiana. By 7 o'clock, you see that expand. This is a wintry mix with some freezing rain, rain and snow, and then snow here and northwest of a line from Terre Haute to Indianapolis to Muncie, the most likely to see a little more significant snow accumulation. I'll work my way through the different model forecasts here for you coming up.
And new information tonight, the Department of Homeland Security says your flight could be rerouted if health officials find out mid-flight that someone on board has been to China in the last 2 weeks. This is another step in the effort to curb the coronavirus in the United States. And Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says a handful of flights will be heading to China to bring Americans back home from the Wuhan area, which is at the heart of the coronavirus outbreak. And here locally, work is being done to study and better understand the virus. Megan Sanctorum is working for you to find out how research at Butler University could help lead to major developments worldwide.
Students and professors are working together in this Butler lab, studying different types of coronaviruses. So far, they've made some major strides when it comes to understanding the scientific makeup of the virus.
These regions are new identified regions that no one's ever found before.
Dr. Stobart and a team of 5 undergrads have been working on this project for several years. They've studied strains like SARS and MERS, giving them a jump start on this new strain from China.
It's one of those moments where it's scary, for a lot of people, but it's also one that just further confirms why we're doing this research, why it's important to look at these viruses.
Stobart says their discoveries could be useful to biochemists or people working in pharmaceuticals as drugs to combat the coronavirus are being created, showing students how important the work in this lab can be.
When I started working on coronaviruses, I never expected it to become an epidemic or a disease that's affecting so many populations worldwide.
It's exciting to contribute to something bigger than yourself. We are focused on a very teeny tiny part of coronaviruses in the grand scheme of things, but the implications can be so profound from such a small component.
The group is getting ready to publish their findings. They're hoping it helps play a role in prevention and treatment of the virus. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
And that group's publication is due out in the next 6 months as we are learning this Wuhan strain is being called the novel or new coronavirus. Other coronaviruses can cause other illnesses like SARS or MERS. And we discovered today just how complicated this all is. And that's why we've broken down the work of these Butler researchers, plus everything else we can find out about the Wuhan coronavirus. You can find that on the RTV6 app or the IndyChannel.com.
A Noblesville contractor shells out $4,000 to a customer to avoid criminal prosecution for home improvement fraud. Lisa Dunkel of Greenfield hired Noblesville contractor Mark Sellers to build a pole barn, but she says that Sellers took her money and didn't finish the job. In January 2019, Hancock County prosecutors filed a home improvement fraud charge against Sellers. But fast forward a year and Sellers will now avoid the conviction because he paid Dunkel $4,000 in restitution. Sellers had also faced up to a year behind bars and a $5,000 fine if convicted. We caught up with Sellers in court last year in Hancock County.
Mark, are you still doing work as a contractor?
What's that?
Are you still doing work as a contractor?
I work for other companies.
Are you going to pay people back?
In response to the agreement withholding criminal charges, Lisa Dunkel told us, quote, "I am glad to get my money and that people are aware of his nonsense." Well, according to this agreement, Mark Sellers can't commit a criminal offense for a year. If he does, prosecutors can refile criminal charges. Call 6 Investigates has been looking into complaints about Sellers' practices for the past 2 years.
And covering the State House, Senate lawmakers gutted and drastically changed a proposal that would have given pregnant women in Indiana more accommodations at work. The bill would have given women reasonable accommodation at work, which could mean things like more frequent breaks, temporary transfer to a less strenuous position, or modified work schedules. But an amendment passed within the hour that turned the bill into a study committee to take no serious action this year. The proposal was on Governor Holcomb's list of priorities in 2020, and it easily passed through committee last week before the change. Democrats strongly criticized the decision to overhaul the bill, but were outvoted.
We are waging war on pregnant women, and I, for one, feel very badly that that is a focus and a direction that this legislative body is moving.
I don't take this lightly in any way, but I simply think it needs more time.
And the full Senate will likely vote on the gutted bill tomorrow, which would send it to the House. If the stripped-down bill passes both chambers, there will be no changes in the workplace for pregnant women this year.
Closing arguments are finished, and now we await Wednesday's final vote in the president's impeachment trial. The Senate is expected to acquit President Trump on Wednesday, but during closing arguments today, House managers made the point that the vote senators cast whether to convict or reject the impeachment articles will reverberate through history. 66 of 100 senators are needed to remove the president, and that's not expected in this case. Before Wednesday's vote, each senator will get 10 minutes in the floor. Many expected to use the time as a chance to explain their positions. Democracy 2020, the Democrats' primary season begins in earnest tonight, and by the end of the day, tens of thousands of Iowa Democrats will have decided the results of their presidential caucus, picking who they would like to see challenge President Trump in the general election. Experts say the top 4 candidates entering this evening are Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, former Vice President Joe Biden, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, and former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Pharmacists have a very important job.
They're responsible for correctly dispensing medicine to you. Hiring Hoosiers, we highlight a classroom to career program, making sure students are ready to do the job.
You know, it's been a hot minute since Antonio Davis played for the Pacers, but you can get his jersey. Are you kidding me? They're selling these old Flojos now at the team store. They got AD, they got Mark Jackson, Jalen Rose, Rick Smits. Wonder if I can get all 4. Oh, by the way, there's a Pacers game tonight. They got the Mavericks. Victor Oladipo, his 3rd game back. We'll hear from him coming up here on RTV6.
And you'll hear about a lot of changes in the forecast as well. Come on over here. We'll get some more room to stretch out. Our temperatures will be mild in the morning and then falling. We'll talk about what comes with that, and you'll hear a legendary voice in my forecast after the break.
And Keller, right now.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's initiative to link you to job opportunities, and we love to find ways that education can take you into a career.
Kelsey Anderson joins us from Purdue University to show us how they are getting future pharmacists ready to go from the classroom to a career.
Well, students in the College of Pharmacy get to work here at the Purdue University Pharmacy, where they get real-world experience into retail.
Purdue University Pharmacy, this is Maddie, student pharmacist. How may I help you today?
You just kind of threw us right into it, and it's been a learning process ever since.
For first-year pharmacy students like Natalie Kinsler, learning in a working pharmacy isn't something she thought she'd be doing fresh into pharmacy school.
I felt like it's a really great experience for all of the first-year professional students just to get their toes in the water, get exposed to the common medications that we usually dispense.
Clinical instructor Alan Farkas says they have some students who come into the college with no experience in a real working pharmacy, and being able to work here gives them confidence.
They're so unsure and very nervous in the beginning of the semester. Then by the time they're done, they know what they're doing. They're confident and interacting with patients, answering the phones, and discussing medications.
It's a great opportunity to create good habit.
But it's not just first-year students who are getting to learn new things. As a fourth-year student, Casey Bernier gets to be the teacher and put her knowledge to the test.
In order to teach anything, you have to know it very well so that you can teach it to others. So I'm very interested in teaching anyway, so that's why this was a great rotation experience for me. But even those who aren't interested in teaching, this is such a good, it gives me good feedback and it helps me to know what I do know and what I don't know.
Farkas says he believes it's a rewarding experience for the soon-to-be graduates.
They get a chance to mentor these younger students. They are able to pull everything together that they've learned over the past 3 years and explain it to someone else who's at the beginning stages.
Once students graduate from the College of Pharmacy, there are several avenues they can take. They can get into retail, they can get into research, or they can get into teaching. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
And you can see this story and all of our Hiring Hoosiers profiles right now on the RTV6 app and our website at hiringhoosiers.com.
This summer, Indianapolis will turn into Paradise City, and Lucas Oil Stadium will turn into a jungle. That's because legendary rock group Guns N' Roses is coming to Indy. Axl Rose, Slash, and crew will perform at Lucas Oil on Friday, August 21st. Guns N' Roses is known for songs Welcome to the Jungle, Paradise City, Sweet Child of Mine, and much more. Tickets for the show go on sale this Friday, February 7th.
And if that's not enough for you, a country music star will make a spring appearance in Brown County. LeAnn Rimes will play at Brown County Music Center in Nashville, Indiana on Friday, April 10th. Tickets go on sale this Friday. Again, that's February 7th. Rimes is known for her songs How Do I Live and Can't Fight the Moonlight. Kevin.
I promised a legendary voice here at RTV6 to make this big announcement today.
And it's a new temperature record.
I love that. Tom Carnegie, of course, you know the voice. So 20 years ago or longer, I had him record a few of these things for me, and he would call in occasionally live and join me on the air as well. A great sense of humor, and we got to use it today. Second day in a row, we've had record temperatures. We won't have a third. Tomorrow, temperatures falling through the day. Then we get to Wednesday and Thursday when we're back to temperatures in the 30s. I want to show you tomorrow, that's rain until we get to tomorrow night. Then we'll see a little wintry mix. It is Wednesday night that we'll have a storm system that has a bigger impact, especially on the northern half of the viewing area. This evening, these are rain showers. They'll stay rain showers, no problems on the roadway. I'm jumping to 4 o'clock to Wednesday, 4 o'clock Wednesday with that stronger weather system. Already just west of Lafayette, the Terre Haute line, some snow as well as a rain-snow mix and some freezing rain. Watch how that spreads northeast, but draw this line, Terre Haute to Indy to Muncie. Northwest of that seems to be the axis of heaviest snowfall. South and east, we mix in some freezing rain and rain. You cut down on snow potential. That's Wednesday night into Thursday morning. I'm going to show you 3 different computer models. This one here particularly has some light icing potential. That would cut down on some of the snowfall amounts. Now we're into the forecast amounts for snow, Terre Haute to Indy, Muncie, Northwest. See the theme? A little heavier snowfall potential. Here's another one, again, north and west of that line. May see 3 inches or more in spots. This has the least snow with it, but again, continues on that theme, north and west of Indy. We'll likely see that axis shift a little bit, but that's why we've got this Storm Shield app and our RTV6 app so you can keep track of all the changes going on. Tomorrow, this is what you need to know. Don't dress for the morning that will be mild. Dress for the falling temperatures through the day, and you'll need your winter coat by the time we get home tomorrow evening. Here's your 7-day forecast. Rain tonight, wintry mix tomorrow night. All eyes on Wednesday night. It's all about the nighttime. In my forecast, temperatures in the lower 30s for a high on Friday. That's one of the coldest afternoons. Hope you heard Tom Carnegie's voice, Dave.
I did. That is awesome to hear that voice. Certainly on a nice day like we had today. Not so bad inside Bankers Life Fieldhouse as well as they take on the Pacers back in town, of course. They take on the Dallas Mavericks, and I'm just kind of doing a stroll down memory lane. Pacers team store here at the Fieldhouse started selling these Flo Joes. They got Mark Jackson, they got Rick Smits, they got Jalen Rose, and of course they got Antonio Davis, who played for the Pacers from 6 seasons before he got traded off to the Raptors in exchange for Jonathan Bender. Anyway, I'm reliving my 20s right now, seeing these things. Anyway, take a look at the next 6 games for the Pacers. Just 6 to go before the All-Star break, 5 of which are at home, which is good news. And a couple of these games are going to be broadcast over at our friends at ESPN, so things are picking up, probably because Victor Oladipo is back. But right now, he's really struggled shooting-wise as they continue to work in Vic. Just 18% at just shooting right now in the first 2 games he's been back.
Just keep being aggressive, and then the rhythm will come, and then it's just going to open up. Obviously, be patient with my body, be patient with, getting back in the flow, but just keep the same mindset and stay aggressive, and then eventually it'll open up.
Fortunately for us, we had an all-star to our roster, and now we gotta figure it out. All of us are gonna have to make sacrifices if we want to win, and I think we will.
Hey, meanwhile, just when you thought the Pacers were good to go and healthy, well, comes this from Saturday's loss against the Knicks. TJ Warren down, concussion. So he's going to miss a couple of games, including tonight. Aaron Holiday will start in his place, 7 o'clock tip tonight here at the Fieldhouse. Well, of course, last night, Super Bowl 54, big win for the Chiefs. Even bigger weekend, you could argue, for former Colts running back Edgerrin James, and that continued today down in Miami. Let's take you down there. This is something that has become tradition for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The day after the Super Bowl, well, all the guys that are going to go in later this summer get their bus measured, jackets measured, good to go when the inductions happen coming up August 8th in Canton, Ohio. Tell you what, this weekend, Edge dedicating the election to some young kids, some growing up in difficult circumstances down in South Florida.
It means a lot because I've always wanted to be an example for them. I've always carried myself being myself. I never tried to be anybody else. I've always been Edge. And when you go in the parks to give those kids confidence, to give those kids, some hope to say, I see somebody that looks just like you, come from the same situation that you've come from. And being able to be in the Hall of Fame or being able to get to the NFL, that means a lot. And for me, I'm always going to try to represent.
You can just tell he enjoyed that entire week, and that unfortunately left Reggie Wayne on the outside looking in, at least for now. Consider this, Peyton Manning will be eligible for the Hall next year. Could Reggie and Peyton go in together? Perhaps. Peyton certainly a first ballot Hall of Famer. Reggie, of course, the 10th on the all-time receiving list. He'll get in at some point, right? Hey, finally tonight, first and foremost, from Melbourne, Australia. You probably missed this over the weekend, but congratulations to Carmel's Rajiv Ram, who teamed up with Britain's Joe Salisbury to win a straight setter for the Australian Open doubles title. It was just a year ago when Ram teamed up to win the mixed doubles title. Now the doubles title. The 35-year-old is the first American to win the doubles title down there since the Bryant brothers did it some 7 years ago. Congratulations to Carmel's own Rajiv Ram. This little stroll down memory lane. You all remember Antonio Davis, right? Of course you do. The news at 6 continues after that.
Culligan Water and start saving today.
Well, it's time for the RTV6 photo of the day. Thanks to Tammy Driver of Columbus for setting in this photo.
Yeah, Tammy calls this big guy Chuck. I think he's a groundhog there. She says that Chuck lives under her neighbor's shed.
And Tammy tells us he will come over to her yard and eat the goodies in her garden.
Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow yesterday, apparently meaning an early spring is coming. I wonder if Chuck saw his shadow. I can see his shadow right now. Casey?
He might not see it, though.
That means the local forecast is different. That would mean 6 more weeks of winter here. But we go with the philometer. And Punxsutawney said an early spring. We go to an average high of 45 by the end of the month. Normally, that would sound exciting if we weren't sitting in the 60s right now.
Right. Oh, well. See you back here at 7.